the top story of this week, of course, to no surprise, if you've been keeping an eye on gaming-related news this week, Microsoft acquired Activision Blizzard and King this week for a cool $68.7 billion with a B. Billion. A lot to unpack here, obviously. A whole lot.
Where to start?
Yeah. I'm looking at the Xbox Wire article that Microsoft put out themselves. Just a brief
that
thing.
Article's from Phil Spencer. Straight to the point.
Yeah.
Like the CEO of Microsoft Gaming. Well, used to be called Xbox Gaming, but obviously it doesn't matter anymore.
Yeah. There's which that's one of the reasons I love Xbox Wire is because like they literally just speak straight to the consumer, which is great.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, Phil of course goes into great detail. There's even an image at the end detailing how the leadership's going to be, going into this acquisition. And Phil Spencer is going to be, he's of course the CEO of Microsoft Gaming, but he's also going to be the CEO for essentially Activision Blizzard now, of course. And like every executive at Activision Blizzard that stays is going to be reporting directly to him now. And then that goes into a whole other thing. Okay, well, what about Bobby Kotick? And I'm he's had his whole controversy, but I think he was already retiring or resigning anyway, so it only made sense that Phil Spencer is going to take the helm on that. But yeah, I mean, this article certainly does not describe all of the studios and IPs they own. I know we've seen tweets throughout the week. This particular Xbox Wire article talks about, of course, creators of Call of Duty, World of Warcraft, Candy Crush, Tony Hawk, Diablo, Overwatch, the list, just goes on. I've seen a couple graphics. I'm showing a graphic on screen right now that kind of just talks about the main studios and even has neat little images correlated to each one. This comes from Clobrel. I don't know how to say his name still on Twitter, but this person has created outstanding graphics. Detailing. Yeah, Clobrel. But yeah, this gives you an idea. Alpha Dog, Arcane, Beenox, Bethesda, of course, Blizzard Entertainment, Compulsion, High Moon, Treyarch, ZeniMax. We have Sledgehammer, of course. Raven. All of these studios are now under one umbrella.
Yeah, this is insane. And a lot of people don't know the studios. So it's like they now have Halo, Call of Duty, Gears of War, Forza. Those are the Xbox ones that are like everybody knows. Now they have, well, not Call of Duty. And now they have like Spyro, Tony Hawk, like you said. And Minecraft is freaking massive. They got, well, they've had Minecraft for a while now, but then they got Doom. They got like what? World of Warcraft now?
Yeah.
You know what's crazy? Something else I heard too. Okay, so first off, the deal has been announced. The stock market has gone through the roof for both Activision Blizzard and also Microsoft.
Yeah.
But the big thing is like the deal isn't actually going to go through until next year, 2023, in around July is what the estimates are. Bobby is out. All rumors say he's out. I'm going to assume he's out because of the absolute storm that was caused with all of this stuff. And Activision Blizzard has been hit with a lot. First of all, last year they went crazy with greed, with all their monetization processes. They were milking the entire World of Warcraft community and trying to get as much money as they possibly could out of them. Then all of a sudden you find out that the workplace environment there is highly toxic and hostile.
Yep.
And then Phil Spencer about a year ago says we're going to reevaluate our position or situation with Activision Blizzard going forward. It's like he meant literally evaluate.
Yeah.
Put a price number on it. We're buying you.
Yeah.
Like that kind of thing. Now they have Fallout.
Yeah.
Like, what?
They have that was under Bethesda. Just to put it into perspective, they bought Mojang Studios, creator of Minecraft. I believe the deal was 4.1 or 4.4 billion. I don't know the exact number. It was 4 billion, I think. I just don't know the point. That was years ago. I don't even remember what year that was. September of 2020, they announced that they made a deal with ZeniMax, and so they bought Bethesda,
Yep.
Arcane, all those studios. That was 7 billion. That studio, I mean that acquisition, sorry, didn't go into effect until March of 2021. So they announced it September. It took them like 6 months, I guess, to close the deal. But like you mentioned earlier, this is going to take a year at least to close, which makes sense. I mean, this is the biggest deal in gaming history of, a studio being bought.
Yeah, there's the thing that I wrote this down when it was announced yesterday morning, about what Xbox and Microsoft have now. So first off, I kind of predicted this about a year ago in a podcast episode that I did. It was about the future of Xbox and how Phil Spencer basically doesn't care about selling consoles anymore, and everything's going to be switched to cloud gaming, and everything around that is just to push people to buy the Ultimate Game Pass. And you can see that since I made that episode. They're trying to make all of these games essentially included with the Xbox Game Pass or the Ultimate Game Pass. Which means, could you imagine this? You spend $15 a month, which I think is about the average price for the Ultimate Game Pass, where you can play on console, the Xbox console, and PC. And you get Halo, Doom, Call of Duty, Hexen, Quake, Rage, Overwatch, Diablo, World of Warcraft, Candy Crush, I mean, whatever, you know what I mean. StarCraft, Fallout, Minecraft, Elder Scrolls, Gears of War, Skyrim. Tell me when to stop. Dishonor, Wolfenstein, Outer Worlds, Forza, Sea of Thieves. Yo, you could get Perfect Dark now. It's on Rare. Okay?
Dude.
Like, and Age of Empires, and Fable. What?
It's unbelievable.
Yeah, I mean, if anybody's saying it's Xbox versus Sony, they're living in 2009, man.
They are.
Like, they're so far behind.
Yeah, and I mean, if
Xbox
anyone's
is gone.
Exactly. I mean, if anyone keeps up to with, general gaming news, you'll know that it's been rumored for a long time that Sony is set to announce a Game Pass of their own soon. But it's like, I mean, dude, how do you compete, man? Like, unless you just really love first-party Sony titles, which, I mean, even then,
They
there's
got
just
good ones.
I mean, they do, but like the value of Game Pass is tenfold now with this deal, assuming a lot of the games go on Game Pass, which, and it also makes me nervous too. I almost hope that they don't up the price with the amount they're adding. I don't know if they will, but it's like they are making. They easily could. I mean, they're making. You said I think it was 25 million monthly subscribers. The Game Pass currently.
No.
Is it way more than that?
They have 25 million subscribers. They don't have $25 million worth of subscribers. They have 25 million people.
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
With the Game Pass right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean,
which that bonkers. You're over 250 million a month.
I mean, they're definitely making money on that, right? Like, there's no like they're making a profit off that, and
that is some crazy that they're making more than Fortnite was in its prime,
for sure. I mean,
easily every month, and that's just on Game Pass.
Yeah. So who knows, man? They may not need to up the price because they're already, they're already in the black, like with all they're doing. So I mean, so I'm not sure. There wasn't one article I caught before we actually talked. Kind of coming from Source Games Beat, which is, I guess, VentureBeat's kind of gaming subdivision. And they put out a article discussing how Activision Blizzard actually wanted to sell, and then they approached Microsoft with this, which I thought was interesting. But in hindsight, I feel like it almost makes sense because, I've seen Phil Spencer. Of course, we've all seen him at the big events, but I've seen him speak on like podcasts before. Like, one notable is Drop Frames with Co Carnage and JP and all them. He went on a couple times, and you can tell just from like him being on that show, like he just cares about how these studios are doing and really wants to help them.
Yeah.
And he calls with them constantly, like, show us your vision. Like, what do you want to do? Like, he's always seemed like he's in it for the right reason. So, it would not surprise me, if Activision Blizzard actually, were trying to just sell. And so they just went to Phil Spencer and were like, hey, like, we thought you guys were a good candidate. And I'm sure Phil's probably in the past tried to help them too, especially with all the, all the controversy.
Oh yeah. You know these guys, they all know each other
Yeah.
for sure. I think I definitely believe that Activision Blizzard probably approached them and was like, "All right, we're after this whole milk incident that happened, um, we're just we we can't recover from this PR storm. Like the CEO is probably out after that. Like high executive management's out, middle management's out. Like it was a nightmare.
Yeah.
And it's like who could buy them? Like name the companies that would
Yeah.
actually be interested. So like if you had to name it's like Sony, Tencent,
Yeah.
Nintendo would never. Nintendo's not even worth 68 billion.
Yeah, they don't have the money at
Yeah,
all.
no, they don't. They almost went under during the crisis. Um the 2008, 2009 crisis.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they got messed up.
And the Wii saved them.
Yeah.
It's like but yeah, I mean the article goes on to describe too that the talk of the deal started in early November, and then the deal was made kind of over the holidays, and then they agreed to the terms, and they just announced it. So fairly quick turnaround. I was expecting, whenever I first was like seeing the reports, I was anticipating it was like they'd been in talks since like summer, but that's not the case. It was only like 2 months. So
Yeah.
they were pretty quick. They were trying to sell, that's for sure.
Yeah. I mean, their stock price was plummeting
Yeah.
after all those allegations started coming out. It was like it wasn't just allegations at one point, it was like testimonies coming out. It was like
Mm,
these could be used in court. Like this is crazy.
yeah.
It was like jail time kind of stuff. It was
Yeah.
wild.
Yeah. I've seen articles come out too, describing, that a lot of the groups that, originally came out with those, kind of, were really at the forefront of like, this culture's bad. Like, here's why. Like a lot of those groups are still saying that, they're still they're not just gonna go away because of this deal. They obviously want to make sure that it's, safety of everyone's maintained going forward.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, my belief is with Microsoft running the ship now, everybody's fired if that happens again.
probably.
Like everybody's gone. Microsoft does not play around.
Yeah.
Like you mess up like that, see ya.
For real. For real.
Bill Gates himself will come into that studio and start slapping people.
I mean, for real. For real, man. For real. But I mean, dude, I just want to look at the image again of all these studios. There's a couple I haven't heard of. Tango Gameworks. I have no idea. I don't think I've heard of that studio. That's one of them.
Here, you move on. I'll find it real quick.
Yeah. I originally saw, I think, some of the original news that came from a Polygon article, kind of detailing the deal. Of course, it was 68.7 billion, the biggest this company in the industry's ever seen. And they also said, it says in the blog post about the acquisition, Phil Spencer said, quote, they will offer as many Activision Blizzard games as we can within the Xbox Game Pass and PC Game Pass, both new titles and games from Activision Blizzard's incredible library. We can, and there's no surprise there. I think we're certainly going to see some pretty insane like games that'll be available for just $15 a month if you get the ultimate.
I think a lot of people are concerned that all their titles are going to be moving over to the Microsoft Store, and that they're going to have to get the Game Pass instead of like using what is it, Battle.net, I believe that's what Activision uses.
Yeah.
I highly doubt that. Like so a good example is you got to use Halo as the example, because Halo is like Xbox's the only thing that really gave people a reason to buy the 360 and the original Xbox was Halo, right?
Yeah.
So the way they treat that IP should be an indication of how they're going to treat big titles that they acquire. And what they've done is you can play Halo Infinite for free on Steam, and Microsoft doesn't care.
Yeah.
You can also just go ahead and download it on the Microsoft Store or the Xbox app. They don't care.
Yeah.
So I'm led to believe that they're going to just leave Battle.net the way it is, give it the support it always had, let Activision Blizzard work like they always have, except now they have to report to Xbox.
Yeah. I mean, it
or
makes
Microsoft.
sense. Yeah, it certainly makes sense. I mean, if one thing's for sure, especially like Xbox. I mean, like you said, I mean, it's just that's proof and just how much they're just willing to work with their studios and the consumer. Like they just really don't. They're not heavy on proprietary stuff. That is for certain. So
Yeah, yeah, no, not anymore. They used to be, not anymore.
yeah, not at all.
So, what are you most excited about for this?
That's honestly a good question. I think looking at just kind of taking a look at all the studios. You know, um, I mean, a lot of Blizzard games. I don't think I ever really like sat down and played. Like, never. I never got into World of Warcraft. Never really got into like Diablo or anything like that. But I mean, hey, especially for something like Diablo, if that's on Game Pass, like I'm checking it
Right?
out, dude. Like, it's gonna
Yeah,
happen. Um,
absolutely.
and yeah, I
Load
mean,
into load into World of Warcraft too.
yeah, like I mean, and also what's interesting too, I mean, is the whole King acquisition, mobile game studio King, because they were
Yeah,
under the Blizzard umbrella, and I mean, yeah, they have like Candy Crush and stuff, but I mean, from what I've seen images, and there's even a little kind of tease here in this, in the graphic, there's I know a mobile Crash Bandicoot game, so I'd be curious to see what other mobile ventures they'd like to do. I mean, since they have Crash and Spyro and Jack and Dexter, I think is another one. Like they have all these IPs now. Like same thing happened whenever the Bethesda acquisition happened. Like
yeah.
everybody's been like theorizing, what are they gonna do? And I don't think we've seen too much. Like a lot of those dreams, I don't think have really like come true yet on the Blizzard side or Blizzard on the Bethesda side. Um, so I'd be curious to see, over time if any of these wild theories will actually come to fruition. Um,
I just really hope that with the Xbox Game Pass, it can keep the because I guess it will keep Xbox and Microsoft satisfied with the amount of money that they're making. That they don't pressure the publishers or developers to build games quickly to make a quick buck, to fill like a quarterly expectation. You know what I mean?
mhm.
Because I mean, we can go into Fallout again, but like Fallout was pretty rushed, and Halo felt pretty rushed, and it's like we're trying to fill that like early November before Christmas release to get that final year quarter. It's like if you're making the money that you need to make to like to appease the investors, let Treyarch do what Treyarch does without being rushed. Let them go back to making awesome campaigns for Call of Duty.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Like just let developers be creative.
yeah,
Quit putting money in it, you know?
yeah. I think that's a
I
good
would
point. I mean, just alone to me without the amount of money they make now and then acquiring all these studios, we know I have a pretty good feeling Microsoft's good for it. So yeah, I think I have hopes that it'll just get better for a lot of the people over at Blizzard.
yeah, oh they better. I mean that
Yeah,
that work environment better get better. I mean, it's real low right now.
yeah.
Some of the stuff I read.
Yeah, it's
Um,
bad, man. But I mean, also, I mean, I know we even discussed this earlier, like earlier on in the day about all the rumors going around about like what could happen to like the COD League now and like competitive Call of Duty
oh
with all
yeah.
these because since now they have all the studios and they have all the Microsoft money, like are they going to stick around with the CDL? Or are they going to try and maybe pull away from that for to go back to kind of the roots of like the MLG like ran events and stuff? Um,
Yeah, yeah, a lot of people don't realize that Activision Blizzard 3 years ago, 3 or 4 years ago, ended up buying Major League Gaming. Major League Gaming was like at the time was like quintessential Halo 3, Halo 2 days. Technically started Halo CE in early 2000s
yeah.
by two guys from like Michigan or something or Ohio, and it just blew up and it became like the main place that you have to go play competitively for tournaments, and like it got picked up with Dota, and like Gears of War was also there, and Call of Duty was the biggest one. And what ended up happening was the league kind of fell apart when they lost a lot of viewership because the developers of the companies decided to make their own leagues for their games. Overwatch was a big one. Overwatch League was a league that ran and done by the developers. Halo now has one called Halo Championship Series. Call of Duty has one, the CDL, which you mentioned,
Hmm.
and it'll be really interesting because CDL is on a downward slope since I believe it first started. Um, they were charging way too much, and they're trying to make it a franchise fee of $20 million. That's the rumor, but none of these esports teams are making $20 million to support a team like that,
Definitely not.
unless the only way that's possible is they have enough content creators to make revenue off of their content creators. So your YouTubers, your streamers, um, like video, Instagram, whatever, you know what I mean, content creators overall, um, and merchandise sales. That's pretty much it. They have to have a brand. Like 100 Thieves, I know what the logo looks like because I've seen everybody wear it. I
Yeah.
know their colors. Same thing with like Cloud9 and all that other stuff. So a lot of people are excited right now that MLG can make a resurgence and take over the COD League and just disband the COD League, and then MLG can go back to the roots of being not a franchise league where it's like pay to get in kind of stuff, but win by merit to get into the partner teams to be a face for the league.
Hmm.
That's my rant.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I'll be interested to see if anything actually does come, of this, acquisition in terms of, competitive Call of Duty. Because I'm kind of in the same boat. I think about the CDL. Like, it's just doesn't make sense in like the gaming space to me. And like just the way it's being run and the fact that like, like I always go back to Nate Shot's point because he's so right of like this league, like the first event they're having is 3 months after the game is out, which is a lot. Like a lot of that hype is in the first month, and like in order to kind of like start strong in any life cycle of a game that's a competitive shooter, especially like it's important to have those events. And even like because back in the day too, especially when it was like MLG, like they would have like weekly like 2Ks and 5Ks where they would just hop on, like all the pro teams would hop on and they would compete in these online tourneys, and there really isn't that now. So they're all just like in scrims, like not or doing like money eights on their own, like they aren't sitting there like
So
just
dumb.
doing nothing. But it's like there's just because like the 2Ks and the 5Ks, it was always like I remember in like early COD days, like getting on and watching like the teams play in these 2Ks, like back on like Twitch and like MLG streaming whenever that was a thing, and that thing failed anyway. It was it was still fun to like sit down and see them compete and just like the banter and just having a good time like playing COD, and there just really isn't that now, which
Yeah.
is rather unfortunate.
Yeah, I think probably the only studio that's ran a competitive league that's actually been like successful is Fortnite and Epic Games.
Yeah.
Fortnite does like I don't even play Fortnite anymore, but I know that they do like Fortnite Fridays, I think, where it's like you and a buddy get to go in and actually try to like win tournaments for
Yeah.
money, and it's free entry and it's sponsored and it's online. It's like that's kind of crazy.
Yeah, they did the and I think they still do like the cash cups because that's like
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
an
that's what
online
they're
thing.
called.
You just go on, sign in, you have a squad, and then you queue up, and it's like all
Yeah, it's
ran
like
in game, and you can just log in and compete.
yeah. I mean, Halo's. I got Halo friends that might watch this. I'm not hating on HCS. I'm just saying that they're not successful to that point yet.
Yeah,
Oh,
I would agree.
like, yeah. In CDL, they I mean, I told you this in DMs when we were messaging back and forth with Nick. It's like CDL decided to concentrate more on the teams than the players,
Yeah,
which is a very dumb thing to do because people don't care about teams anymore. It's all about like who's doing what, who's keeping up with the flashiest cars, who's like what's the drama going on. Like that's what it's really about. Like that's the reason why famous like athletes not only are they super skilled, but even the ones that aren't even that skilled and they're just average, if they have some crazy life event happening, it hits the news, it goes everywhere in all the sports journalist stuff.
Yeah.
because that's what grabs people's attention.
Yeah.
People follow the players, not the teams. And
Yeah.
by the way, the region locks that these esports organizations and leagues are doing, this like Atlanta phase that I think I saw, or Los Angeles
Thieves.
thieves, like guys, it's a video game. I'm not saying it's like to downplay it because there's real money. This is serious work. But like, why are we region locking an entire online competitive basis? Like base, you know? We got people that are fans from like in like Japan, that play
Yeah.
like COD. People in Europe that are playing COD. Why are we region locking to like have 3 teams in Los Angeles, a team in Miami, somewhere in New York City? It's like, how about we just like name the teams how they are?
Yeah.
Like 100 Thieves is 100 Thieves. 100
Exactly.
Thieves has like XYZ players. Support those players, you
Yeah.
know?
Well, I mean, the other thing about like esports too, it's like, I mean, these teams, like, it is, I mean, it's easy enough for someone, if they're not vibing with a team or something, to just leave and free agent, join another team. Like,
Absolutely.
and when
Yeah.
you're in like baseball, I mean, especially stuff like baseball and basketball, like there's trading and there's like long processes to move a player from one team to the other. And most of the time it's not voluntary. Like they have to move.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, I mean, having that freedom, that's what makes that's what makes a competitive esport interesting. Is just seeing like where everyone's
Yeah.
going. Like you said, like, oh, that's what makes it interesting to me.
Yeah. You gotta that's just why sports in general are popular now. More popular than ever. Is the NBA was dying for a little bit. Like there was a lot of stuff that it was on a downward trajectory. Similar to how the MLB is right now. Like not very many people watch the MLB in the United States. It's really popular overseas, not so much here. And the reason why is that the NBA made a clear switch, and the NFL followed suit shortly afterwards after they saw it was serious. Is they went away from like supporting the franchises and the teams to supporting and covering the players. The NBA backs their players better than any other league I've seen before in my life. They're they're like the players when they mess up, but they don't like throw them under the bus and like kick them to the curb.
Yeah,
And one of the things that the sports journalists do is like on TV, they'll follow everything that like a superstar is doing. England's really bad about this though. Like Europe in general with football, they go too far. They go into like personal matters where you shouldn't be. But like the thing is Messi because it's Messi. He's the greatest ever.
yeah,
But like a lot of people know Ibrahimovic because he's a lunatic. He's like a crazy. He's crazy good, but he's also a lunatic. Like
yeah.
David Beckham, he's not that good of a player, but he did a crazy thing back in the 90s to carry the English squad. And then he gets a movie deal, like Bend It
Yeah.
Like Beckham kind of stuff. And all of a
Yeah.
sudden, he's a household name. You
Yep.
know what I mean? Like people know OBJ because of one average catch he did in the regular season. They lost that game. Nobody like, and they still show highlights.
Yep.
You get what I'm saying? Like,
Yep.
but like, the problem is when you build a franchise league and all you talk about is the teams, nobody cares.
Yeah. Yeah. I
That's the
mean,
truth of the matter.
it was like, I mean, it's like you said with the MLB, like nowadays, I don't know a single
I,
baseball player's name. I don't think. Like that's not a
I don't
meme.
know
Like
any either.
I really just don't know because like
I
I
don't.
know the Yankees. I know Boston. I know the Braves because they're probably like the closest team to me, and like that's
Yeah.
that's probably it.
Did the Braves win the World Series?
I think they did. I couldn't tell you.
Yeah. Who's the pitcher? Who's the catcher?
I couldn't tell you, dude.
Help me.
Help me.
Yeah.
Oh man.
I don't know who won the NBA championship, but I can name like 3 players off the Golden State Warriors, and I haven't watched a full NBA game in years.
Yeah. Yeah, it's
And
like
that, like, I don't care about basketball. I really don't. I feel
well,
like,
you know some of the players, baby. You know some of the
yeah,
players.
that's what I'm getting. Rant over, but we'll see how we'll see what happens to the CDL. There's a lot of rumors going on that people think it's going to be dissolved. I think it should be. I don't think it's profitable. I think it was a scam. I really do. $20 million per franchise. Think about that.
I don't want to, man. Like,
Think about Nate Shot going up to his investors and being like, all right, we need to gather up about $20 million worth of resources and sponsorships and backing. We're going to have to sign a bunch of players and pay them too. And by the way, there's no guarantee we're going to make enough prize money to get this back.
Yeah.
How do you sell that?
You don't. I mean, because that's the big thing. Like, if that $20 million fee is true, which I'm sure it is. Like,
it's a rumor, but
I don't know,
it's a
dude.
consistent rumor.
You're not making that back. There's not enough money being fed. At least to my knowledge, there's not enough money being fed in that league to warrant that kind of entry. But then again, I don't know the numbers, so maybe I'm just lying.
No. At least like the only other thing that's as ridiculous is the entry fee to get into Formula One. But at least those automotive companies, they sell cars.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? like Ferrari has the brand, and they also sell $1 million cars. It's like there's a reason Ford's not really in it anymore.
Yeah.
Like Honda's in it. But everybody's got a Civic.
I know everyone has. I mean, the workhorses, man, they last forever.
Yeah, concentrating too much on the business and more about the gaming. I'm pretty excited about Activision Blizzard getting bought out. I really hope that the culture changes and I can start playing some World of Warcraft and Diablo for the first time, because I haven't played it either, but I know all about it. I watch all the videos.
Right. I mean, I'm in the same boat. I know all about those, so maybe I'll have a good excuse to try them. Definitely exciting stuff. I think part of me initially when I heard this too is kind of like Microsoft's getting a little big there. Like, we need to make sure they're not getting too big. But I don't know. I mean, with Phil Spencer running it, he does a really good job, I feel, of communicating everything. And if he's like he is in front of the camera, then they're in good hands. So
yeah, I mean, if you think about it this way, they're not going to be considered a monopoly until they basically consume Sony.
Yeah,
at this
and
point.
then it's like, I mean, there was that article too we saw. I think it was early last year. They tried to buy Nintendo and got laughed out. Microsoft did.
Oh yeah.
So
yeah, and they were just like, "All right, bet." Went and just got like all these other studios, and meanwhile Nintendo's just like, "I don't care. I got Mario,
Zelda. I got all these IPs.
I got Zelda. Who's the other big one? I got Samus." Metroid Prime.
I got Metroid. Oh man,
got Kirby. Game.
I was gonna say Kirby. Yeah.
Donkey Kong. Game.
That's it. That's all we need. I mean, reality. That's all they need.
Did they have? I think they have Pac-Man too, don't they? Didn't they buy Pac-Man?
I think so. He's in Smash. So, I mean,
yeah.
Something. Then again,
you know what the GOAT game is though? That everybody sleeps on, but everybody's played.
What is it?
Microsoft Solitaire.
Can't deny that.
You can't beat it. Can't beat it. That's like, I don't know anything more on the PC than that besides like Pong.
Minesweeper.
Minesweeper's up there. That's like, Minesweeper was the original Sudoku.
Yeah, exactly. Like, oh man. Anyways, I'm interested to see this. It's gonna be a long journey to the closure, but I think
we're definitely gonna be following this.
Yeah. I'm sure there's going to be all sorts of developments throughout the year, so you already know where you're about to get your news from. This stuff.
The M2 podcast, man, like Kyle Heath.
M2 podcast. Unless do you have any final thoughts on that, Mike, at all? I think we pretty much covered everything that we wanted to.
Yeah, I believe we covered everything for this week. I'm excited for the next month to see which games are going to be coming out. And see what the future is going to hold for a lot of these studios. Bethesda, I mean, we might need to revisit Bethesda again and what this actually means for them.
Yeah, kind of do a more in-depth thing on that.
Yeah, we should revisit that.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, there's certainly, there's just so much, there's so many stories and like things we could really dissect and like actually spend some time researching and like pull all the necessary articles and whatnot. So we will definitely yeah, that's certainly a good idea, and I believe we will do that on a slow week at some point. But yeah,
I can't wait to get Doom Guy versus Master Chief versus like a bunch of Call of Duty characters. Here's the dream. You ready for it?
Mhm.
I want a Super Smash Bros, but all Microsoft IPs.
You know, it's funny you say that because I was literally just about to say Microsoft just needs to go into the brawl market and just create a
Oh,
brawler
it's
with
over.
all of these, dude. Are you kidding me, man? Could you imagine they're just like I don't know what studio would do it. Like maybe they would just buy a new studio. I don't know. They got the money, you know, so they could just buy a new studio and just be like, yo, here is a arena fighter. Have fun. Here's all your IP characters in one game. Have
Yeah,
fun.
and then gives them like the contact information for the principal designer of that character.
Oh man. Oh, there's
Imagine
so
those
dude.
Zoom meetings.
Oh, we we could seriously sit here and do a whole show just theorizing on these deals, like
Oh my
all the
god, yeah.
different all the different things, the different possibilities, because it's endless. Like you can literally go on for
Yeah.
hours about this stuff. Like there's just if we sat down and thought about it, I'm sure we could like just go full tinfoil hat episode at some point.
Crash Bandicoot and Spyro started on PlayStation,
Isn't that crazy?
went to Activision, and now they're on Xbox.
It's funny how
It's
the
not
world
even
works.
Xbox anymore, it's Microsoft, but you know,
Yeah.
it's Xbox.
It's funny how the world works. It's another thing, real quick, we didn't mention is like, is like, what are they going to do about exclusivity? Because I like, I'm sure,
Oh,
I'm sure
they
COD's
don't
back on
believe it.
Xbox. It like maybe like COD's back on Xbox. I mean, but like some of the other stuff, like, because I know with the Bethesda deal, I mean, of course everything's on Game Pass, but like with the exception of I think one more contract they had with Sony on one exclusive. I think it may have been Deathloop. I think they had like a contract with Sony to like
Yeah.
release it. Or, I don't even know. It was release it earlier,
Yeah, it
get
was like
exclusive
release
content
early,
or something
like
like that.
yeah,
Um,
yeah.
but yeah, I mean, I think everything. I'm assuming going forward. I mean, they're at least gonna probably have some exclusive like little DLC or something for some of their games. But who knows? Maybe they're going full consumer and they just won't do it, which is a
I
possibility. So
I think they're going full consumer. Phil Spencer a couple of years ago was talking about how he wants to get rid of exclusivity entirely.
yeah,
That's why he put the Halo IP, probably Gears. I think the only true IP they have right now is like Forza. I think
yeah,
that's the only one that's like only on Xbox, only on Xbox Game App for PC.
yeah. Hmm.
I could be wrong, but it's like Forza's an awesome game, but so is Grand Theft Auto, or not Grand Theft Auto, was it Gran Turismo,
Yeah, yeah.
which I think Sony has.
I think so. Yeah, because I don't remember seeing that on any Xbox platform.
Yeah.